What's up, everybody, and welcome to the KerbKast, a streamer-centric podcast dedicated to new and growing streamers alike. Now, I'm KerbStop, and I interview streamers from every walk of life to give you real-world examples and real-world experience to hopefully help you grow and achieve your goals. Now, my first guest is a full-time streamer based out of Panama who's very excited about this project, and I'm so happy to introduce to you Ribs Torino, giving his experience and his perspective on full-time streaming on the platform of Twitch. So hopefully you all enjoy. There's gonna be more of these. You can follow me on all the social medias at KerbStop. This is gonna be posted on the KerbStop YouTube channel as well as Spotify. So hopefully you enjoy. Let me know what you think. We have a lot of cool things planned this year, so make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell icon if you're curious. And now, on with the show. What is up, everybody? We have different scenes. Everything's a little bit different, but welcome back to our first ever iteration of the KerbStops podcast. We didn't name it. That's my bad. But I saw a lot of awesome faces. Ribs Rack, thank you so much for coming in with the raid. I'm going to actually unmute you if you want to say hi real quick, Ribs. I'm going to introduce everybody in just a second here. But I did see Brainbow, Steven's in here, Neri, Lambda. Make sure my audio is good. Someone tell me if you can hear me, everything. I saw Pastito was there. Mateo, thank you so much for keeping control over everything. So today's going to be a bit different. Gem, Aqua, how are you? Welcome, friends. Welcome, friends. So, typically, I'm very chat heavy and very involved with what's going on. But since we are doing a podcast today with our guest Ribs Torino, we are gonna have limited visibility to chat. There's not gonna be, you can hear me? Awesome. Hosty, welcome on in. We're gonna have very limited visibility to chat. So we have somebody with us named Stephen Frey in the chat, who's gonna be kind of moderating chat for us, so that if we are either off topic or if there's a question that is on the topic that we're talking about, he could bring it to our attention. Here, let me get some music back over here because I feel weird just talking to the void. But we do have the wonderful, the amazing full-time streamer Ribs Torino from Panama with us today. So today we're just going to be all focused on new year, new streamer. We're going to be talking about how to get started. We're going to be talking about how to grow. We're going to be talking about the difference between full-time, part-time, hobby streaming, variety streaming, the gear you need to get started versus the content your creation. We have a lot we're going to talk about today. Fidgety, welcome on in. Ken Modus, I see you, buddy. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. Is there any last minute things I'm forgetting, Steven?
I think we're ready. It's showtime. Let's get it.
Welcome on in. It's so good to see you. So friends, if I can get a warm and amazing welcome to our guest, Ribs Torino, who's with us here on the podcast right now. Ribs, how you doing, my friend? It's so good to have you.
Yo, I'm there. Hey, Kerb, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you. We were talking about this project for a while now, and the day has finally come. So yeah, it's an honor, man. Thank you so much for considering me, for launching your project, for making the experiment. We're gonna make it work, I'm sure of it. And it's truly an honor, man. It's truly an honor to be in your space. This project, I'm a believer. We really talk a lot about what we're gonna do here today. And I am super excited. I think we're going to deliver something of value to all the community, to your community, to mine, to everyone that tunes in today, to everyone that listens to this in YouTube when it's done. So yeah, thank you so much, dude. I'm truly happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much for being part of it. Too much sexy on the street. Sorry, I'm going to stop looking at chat.
I need to center myself a little bit more.
Before we get super started, I just wanted for everybody that I know you brought the Ribs Rack over here, and the Ribs Rack is very familiar with you. A lot of the people in my chat are also very familiar with you as well. We do have a lot of cross pollination between our communities, but also we're active in each other's communities. So for those that don't know you, how would you describe yourself?
Well, first, an introduction to those of you that don't know me. My name is Ricardo, but everyone calls me Ribs. Ribs is shorter, tastier, and sexier. It's stuck. The name stuck. I didn't start being Ribs on Twitch. That's another story for another time. But yeah, everyone just calls me that. I like it. People like it, and it's easy and catchy. So I am a full-time streamer, like I was mentioning. I wasn't a full-time streamer, of course, when I began, but life brought me here. So this is what I do for a living now. I've been streaming for close to 4 years. On March 30 will be my Twitch anniversary, 4th Twitch anniversary. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while. I am super passionate about streaming, about communities. Like Kerb mentioned, we have a lot of overlap. That's part of the things we're going to talk, how all this works, how you branch, make new friends. So it's been a truly incredible experience. Not only you get to share something that you're passionate about, which in my case, not only games, of course, but this dynamic of getting to know people, getting to make friends, getting to inspire others, getting inspired by others, because you get to meet so many amazing people from all walks of life. But as for my streaming, I do variety, the real variety. We do a little bit of everything. We do achievement hunting, trophy hunting, retro games, modern games, singing, eating, chatting, having wine, makeup. Tisha did my makeup recently. We do charity streams. We do game development. We have done game development streams, so it's a little bit of everything. I am very structured with my schedule, but sometimes I shake it up. So expect to see lots of different things. And also spreadsheets, lots of spreadsheets. I love lists. I need lists. So that's a little introduction. Thank you, Kerb, once again for having me.
Absolutely. And can we get a quick shout out in the chat for Ribs Street? Now, friends, if you're not following Ribs, you're doing yourself a disservice. An amazing streamer. Like he said, he's had 4 years on the platform, a lot of experience, and is just all around an awesome dude. I did see someone mention that you also do karaoke streams. Don't forget to mention that. Don't forget
singing,
to mention
yes,
that.
Sir. I think I mentioned singing. Maybe not, but I didn't mention karaoke explicitly, but I did mention singing. Yeah, we sing sometimes.
So today, and what this series is going forward, is going to be a monthly podcast. And it's always going to be geared kind of towards the newer and growing streamer. And what I wanted to do is provide a platform where we can have a safe space to talk about these things here on Twitch, because there's a lot of Twitch etiquette which will go about way later in the podcast, and I wanted to provide this resource to people because I would have loved to have a resource like this when I first got started. So kind of diving right in, you've mentioned you're a full-time streamer. Everybody knows I'm a part-time streamer, and there are hobby streamers. So what would you say for somebody who's just about to get started, has never done anything but maybe been a viewer on Twitch? Where would you say they should start?
Yeah, that's an interesting starting point. A very interesting question. I get asked something similar a lot, give or take. So basically, my first thing would be to try it. There's not much that you really need to start out as a streamer. And also the difference between doing it, you start always, it needs to be something you like, it needs to be a hobby. And then you decide, you go from there. So yeah. I think,
yeah, and to piggyback on that, I know we talked about it a little bit off stream. Is it does have to start with a hobby. It has to start as a passion, and it's there's
you had a really good quote. I don't have you have that quote around that quote. I think people should hear that. I think that's important, really important.
I'll post the full article with the full quote in the Discord. I think I posted it on Twitter, but it was along the lines of, when you're super passionate, and you pick up a guitar for a week, you don't quit your job to become a full-time guitar player in a band, right? It has to start as a hobby. It has to start as a passion. You have to be improving yourself in order to get to that full-time streamer perspective. So and this kind of ties in, so we're talking about the hobby streamer. I started off as a hobby streamer. I actually started off streaming in Discord to my brother-in-law, and it was not because I wanted to be a streamer for any, like, what's the words I'm looking for? It wasn't because I wanted to be a streamer. It's because I loved sharing that experience with him. I was playing games that he didn't like necessarily played, but would love to watch. And I got told, dude, you should just do this on Twitch. Like, why aren't you doing this on Twitch? So it has to start as a hobby. It has to start as something that you're passionate about.
100%. It has to start there, and it has to stay there. You need to be passionate about what you do. I think that's the only people, and this is kind of going a bit off the race, but there's like, I get asked if there's a formula, and what I always tell them is it's supremely important that you are having fun with work, that you're enjoying it. So it has to be your hobby. It has to be something that you truly like to do. That will resonate. That goes through the camera to the people watching, and it's kind of transparent. That's why you see the energy in the streams that, oh man, I don't really like it. You need to vibe with that. So it's important to put the passion and that energy. And that's what people put into hobbies, things they like, things they're passionate about, and people tend to love to share those hobbies. So
Oh, 100%. And maybe this might be a really good starting point because you're a full-time streamer. This is what you do, right? What does that look like? Because a lot of people, they go, I want to be a full-time streamer, but they don't necessarily know what that means, how much that entails, what that's like for you. So if you can, just real quick for everybody, just kind of go in the day of a life of what it's like to be a full-time streamer on Twitch.
Absolutely. So yeah, it started for me as a hobby. It started for me on a whim. One day I came back when I still had a day job. I came home and I was like, let's try this Twitch thing. My account was like 7 years old, but I occasionally watch streams. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do some art. I was doing a lot of pixel art back in the day. So I figured out Google, how do you stream? Download OBS. Put your stream key there, hit start streaming. So something like super bare bones on a whim. I did a stream for like 30-40 minutes. And I think I got like 2 viewers, 1 chat message or something like that. And I was this is kind of cool. So then I immediately got hooked, fired a game. The first game I ever streamed was Spec Ops The Line. I don't play that many shooters, but I don't know why I was getting into the game. So I decided to stream it. And it went from there. I went as I saw on a whim. I didn't know where I was going. I had my job. So 0 things in my head about, this is going to be what I do for a living. But I did discover fast enough that I was enjoying it. So some people started to come. The community, the first few members, it took me a few weeks to get to affiliate. I think like, if I recall correctly, I think it was like 3 months or 4 months or something to get to affiliate. I didn't know much about that, but then it went from there. Fast forward to when I got fired from my job because we had the COVID lockdowns, and the company where I used to work, it was a small advertising agency. So they were like super cash strapped, and they were telling that very small company, like 8 employees, something like that.
So to be fair, you were fired, you were let go, right? You didn't do anything to get fired. They just
it was fine. It was I still occasionally get calls from my ex-boss. They are like, do side jobs and stuff, but I don't have any issue. I wasn't fired because it was basically, well, Ribs, business is down. We don't know if we have enough money to pay you your paycheck every 15 days or whatever. So if you want to keep working, if we get enough income, we'll pay you. But I was like, no, dude, I can't. That's not sustainable for me to find a steady source of income. So, it's a snowball effect. You can't tell that to your landlord. You can't tell that to the grocery store. You need to pay your bill. So I told them, well, that's it for me. I can't come here 8 hours a day or work from my home or whatever, and not being sure if I'm getting paid. So then I came home. I was super down in the pits, depressed. It was a hard moment, very rough moment. So by that moment, I think I probably was around 600, 700 followers. I've been blessed ever since I got affiliate. I think it took me and I'm going to be very open with this. I am transparent. People can ask questions. A lot of people have asked me about that. I think I got my first Twitch payout at the 3 months after getting affiliate, something like that. You have to cross the $100 threshold, I think is, and that's when they process your payment. So I got it at the 3 months mark or something like that. And then I've been getting a payout every month. Thank God. That has helped me tremendously, especially during the lockdown, the worst part of the lockdown, where things have slowed down here so much that I couldn't find. I'm also a graphic designer by trade. That's why I went to college for. So I had freelancing gigs trying to find work that I could to sustain myself and my family, right? So I was depressed, was in a rough spot. I like Twitch. I'm getting a steady paycheck. It's not much. But I told Tisha's my wife, you know what? I'm going to try this full time, see where it goes. There's no jobs for me here. I'm getting very few commission or whatever, freelancing gigs, how you want to call them. So I decided to go full time. Exactly, I think the date was, the lockdown was 2020. Yeah, I think it was March. So I've been closed for 2 years, full time now.
Oh, nice. So that's like half of your Twitch experience.
Yeah, half of my Twitch experience has been full time. So I basically decided to go full time out of need. But here's a catch. So we talk a lot about this off stream when we were planning the podcast. I didn't quit my job. It was a circumstance. They didn't offer me guarantee of payment, so I couldn't offer. I can't devote hours of my day every day because the work was coming, but the clients were like, oh, I can pay you in 120 days. I can pay you 6 months. So they wouldn't receive the money, then they couldn't pay me. But I will still have to do the work. What, for 6 months? I can't do it, man. I need to pay my stuff right now. So that's why I told them, I'm done here. Good luck.
So just to highlight that, you actually became a full-time streamer out of circumstance. You didn't go into streaming with the mindset of, hey, I'm going to be a full-time streamer and make an income and make a living off of this. It was more of a circumstance that led you to there.
And another thing now that you mentioned, income, making a living out of this, never do that for your hobbies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with monetizing a hobby, something you're particularly good at, because something that can be an activity that you enjoy, like, oh, I like to play the guitar. You can play the guitar. You can jam at your home. I like this. But then you start getting real good, and your friends and family start to notice. And they tell you, hey, why don't you go to bars and get gigs? You can get extra money. You can get a free dinner. That's a start. Some musicians start like that.
It's a hustle.
It can be, oh, you know what? Let's try it because I really enjoy playing the guitar, using that quote you mentioned. So that's a thing. But maybe that person that plays the guitar, that people started to notice, lost his job, and then he sees the money. So that's what pushed me to take make the call to go full time, because the circumstance was I couldn't find another job here. Everything, the lockdown here in Panama was super strict for like close to a year. What I mean with super strict, it was like, you only had 1 hour to leave your house to buy groceries. That's it. They use your ID number. They caught you outside your home with your outside of your hour, you got fined or you could go to jail. So it was really strict here. So
yeah, it's very strict.
It was impossible to hit the streets and find a new job. So that was out of the question.
Something I should mention, because we're diving really deep into full-time streaming and how you're a full-time streamer. The thing that I think that needs to be said is there's no wrong way to stream, right? Whether it's to one viewer, some people literally go live on Twitch just so that they have their buddies come and watch their games. They're not trying to grow. They're not trying to do anything like that. So there is no wrong way to be a streamer on Twitch. We're talking more so about like those other hurdles of growth and becoming fully part-time or full-time as a streamer. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear, because I didn't say anything earlier. That's something to consider. There is no wrong way to stream. So if you do want to just hit that go live and share it with your buds, there's nothing wrong with that. Just want to make sure. Or
try it out just because you want to see what it's about, see the tech, learn about the software, learn about the platforms. There's learning to happen here. You can't fail, really. I mean, you can not hit a goal if you're goal-oriented and you have that mentality. There's nothing wrong with having number goals. What you have to be is honest to yourself, what you want to get out of this. So in my case, I started out of a whim, like, I'm sitting here in the computer playing games, making pixel art. Why not stream this? Let's see what happens. So it was completely like random. When I decided to go full time, it was out of necessity and because there was a path forward for me. Because I was seeing my trends, I was getting the paycheck every month. It's not much. It's still like, let's say, I want to be fully transparent here. Latin America, as you know, I'm in Panama. There's a country here in Latin America. Salaries are not that great, but some living expenses are not that bad, even if I believe Panama is a very expensive country. But here, the wage people earn every month is on average between $600 and $700 a month on your day job, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. So for me, it was very, a little bit. It put it into perspective, but it was realistic for me to hit that on a Twitch payout. And I actually got there quite fast. It went down again, and I'm going to be like being transparent. That's one of the reasons I tell people not to quit their jobs, to pursue this, even if they think or they have a good trajectory, they have good metrics. Because if you're going to do this full time like me, I'm not obsessed with the numbers, but I do look at them. I do look at my like Sulinom or Social Blade or the Twitch dashboard at least once or twice a month just to see where I'm going. But I don't get obsessed with that because I was there at one point and it was not good. And depending on how your mind works.
Sorry, before we go too deep on analytics and things, because we will talk about that a little later. Just real quick, I just wanted to see to tie it back to what I was asking you just a little bit earlier. So as a full-time streamer, what is your schedule like? So like how much work is on stream? How much of it is live in front of the camera? How much work is off stream? For those that, because there's a lot of people that do really want to become a full-time streamer. They want it to be their career, but I think that there's a little bit of a veil of how much work that actually is.
To pull this, to demystify it a bit.
Exactly.
So I've talked about this in my streams previously. A lot of people ask that, something like that. And I'd say the stream is the fun part. The stream is like when the athlete, the football or soccer player, if you use soccer, goes to the pitch and plays for 90 minutes. That's the stream. But that guy trains every day for hours. They have drills, they have practice sessions, they have friendly matches. So, and only to play 90 minutes. That's a lifetime. It can be a 5-hour stream, a 6-hour stream, whatever, but that's your moment in the pitch. There's a lot of extra work that goes behind the scenes. So I'd say the stream itself is like 1/3 of all the work you need to put into this if you're doing it full time. That sounds like a lot. It is a lot of work. Expect to work more than 8 hours a day if you do it full time. I'm not saying you're streaming every day for 8 hours. That's a different thing. In my case, I decided to try a 6-day-a-week schedule, which is a lot of days online.
Time.
But I used to work 6 days a week anyway, so that's why I have I'm used to, when I had my day job here in Panama, you work Monday through Friday 8 hours and 4 hours on Saturdays. So I was already used to doing 6 days a week. So that's why I decided to go. Some people say it's too aggressive, but it's working for me. And you don't need to stream 6 days a week, but that's another question. I don't want to go there, but yeah, basically to answer your questions, Kerb, I say 1/3 of the work is the stream itself, arguably the most enjoyable part, but there's a lot that you have to do. You have to plan your content, you have to prepare your scenes, make sure the tech is working, do promotion work, do networking, connect with other streamers, keep learning, reading trends, everything. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. If you want to pep your scene, then you need to learn some graphic design, some motion graphics, some video editing if you want to put clips out there or whatever. So there's always something to do.
And as a starting streamer, you're your producer, you're your editor, you're your talent, you're your marketing team, your networking team. You're all in one, right?
Yeah, PR, gamer.
Exactly.
You have to buy the gear. You're your IT guy. You have to troubleshoot. You have to do everything. So it's a lot of work. That's why I say at least 2/3. It is fun. I enjoy it. I love it. I wouldn't dare return to a regular job. I truly love what I do, and I've learned so much. But yeah, it is a ton of work, and I'm not trying to discourage anyone. Just to give some perspective as to why quitting your job is not a good thing to do. Even if you're I'm getting a payout every month. I'm getting 200, 300, 500. I'm growing. Let's go. Let's do this. Be careful. Think through it. In my case, I didn't have much choice. I was already doing it. I was already passionate about it. So there were the stars aligned, like some people say, right? So, but yeah, that's one piece of advice. Take it easy. Even if you discover that you enjoy it, it is still something you truly love doing. It's a hobby, like we said at the start. Then you can consider it, but take it easy. That's why, and it's not to discourage, just to avoid some suffering and stress that you don't need in your life. That's all I'm going to say.
And to kind of echo that, as a part-time streamer, so everybody that's familiar with my streams, I stream 3 days a week, about 4 hours at a time. It used to be only 3 hours at a time, and it also only used to be twice a week. So I did up my schedule a little bit. But we talked a little bit before stream about, your full-time experience, and like you said before, it's about 1/3 of it is on stream time, and that actually echoes to even me as a part-time streamer. I was talking to my wife about it after you and I discussed it, and yes, I'm on stream for about 12 hours a week, but I'm doing about 20 more hours of off-stream stuff, like you said, the networking, marketing, social media.
No, and it shows in your particular case, and people that have seen my streams, and we're going to talk about that more because Kerb and I had like a little outline. You can see your production, man. That takes hours to put together the scenes, the transitions. That's a lot of work. You go live 4 or 5 hours on average, but for that scene that you're using, you put like extra 10 hours of work testing, making sure everything works, making sure everything is to your liking. And it's fun to do, but it's still a lot of work.
No, 100%. I completely agree. And actually, I know this is going to mess up our outline a little bit, but you kind of had a perfect segue. Why don't we talk a little bit about gear versus content creation? So I'm in a very fortunate position where I do media for a living. I do photo, I do live streams, I do that all for my work outside of Twitch. So I have access to a lot of equipment that I've acquired over the years, but you don't necessarily need it. I know that I'm very privileged in the sense that I can pull off high production value early on, but you don't need it. I did a post on Instagram of where I started versus where I was at the beginning of the year, right? For like kind of a new year reflection.
Which is still, even in your privileged position, it's still a lot of like that you can see the difference. And you've been streaming for 9 months, I think, right?
I think we just hit 11 months.
Oh, so you're close to the year now.
Mm-hmm. So we're close to a year.
You're going fast, boy. That's super good to see.
Thank you.
Well, because you're putting in the work. Just what we talked. You do the streams, but you're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Plus, you have already some access to like some gear and tools that you can use for.
But you don't need it. My first few streams was just a webcam and a green screen. My office was underneath a staircase. It was like a Harry Potter closet. It was a little triangle that I put a little desk under and like a sideboard table to kind of create an L shape. And I had nothing but my webcam. I did purchase a green screen for like $30 for the whole setup on Amazon. And that's where it starts. You don't need to start with much. Like, I feel like I'm always kind of a bit of an imposter in the sense that I say, you don't need much, but like I have a ton. Right, I have 2 lights here.
Yeah, but that's your circumstance. You already had access to it. It's not like you had to spend thousands of dollars on the cameras, the mics, the arms for the mics, the computer, whatever. You already have access to those tools. So why not use them? Of course you're going to use them.
But you don't need
like you said, you don't need them to start, but they do make the stream better. Even if they are not absolutely necessary. So if you have access to them, there's nothing wrong with using them and you don't have to feel bad about that. So it's like me, I have a lot of graphic design. I studied that. I worked for that on many years. I use that to leverage. I create alerts, custom alerts, designs for my merch, whatever. So why would you not use, in your cases, physical hardware tools that you can use or pieces of gear? Use them, and that's fine. Everyone has to use their strengths or things they have access to. There's nothing wrong with that. And if absolutely, just to second your notion, I agree wholeheartedly. Maybe the message that Kerb wants to push through with this is that you do not need the best in class gear to start. You do not need the best mic. You don't need the best DSLR camera. You don't need the best computer with 3 screens. It's better to have? Yes. Will improve the look of the stream? Yes, absolutely. Is it absolutely necessary to succeed as a streamer? Nope. At all. No, at all. You can do a great stream with a very basic setup. And I've seen a lot of streamers that are amazing and they have like a laptop with a very basic blurry webcam and the mic doesn't sound that great and they still have dozens of viewers and they some of them get partner and they achieve that and then they upgrade, whatever. But that's a good case scenario. I'm not saying you want to be a partner or anything. That's a whole other kind of worms. I don't know if we're going to talk about partnership or whatever.
Probably not today.
Exactly. Maybe not today. I don't think we'll have time, but absolutely. Don't let not having the utmost best gear ever available deter you from starting.
And so if I can, I want to highlight there's some people in our community here, I'm going to leave names out of it for the most part, that are amazing streamers that don't even have a webcam. All their content is their voice, and they use, and like a lot of them are playing off of like PlayStation, going directly live to Twitch, so it's just the game, or some even have a capture card that goes, live out to Twitch, but with no webcam or anything. So you don't even need a webcam to get started, but you can always upgrade over time. The hardest hurdle, I think, for new streamers is just even going that first step of going live. Now, I have a very controversial opinion. I don't think that just because you go live makes you a streamer, which we could talk about that a little bit later if you want, but it is the first step. That's what starts the hobby.
I don't know if that's controversial. That sounds more like I can see why it can be controversial, but I also see that it's like the people discussing how do you define a retro game. Like everyone's different. Some people, if it's discontinued, so PlayStation 3 backwards is retro. That's the definition they use. Some other people, no, it has to be like the 2D aesthetic, 8, 16-bit, that's retro. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a clear-cut definition with that everyone agrees on. What is a streamer? You say that going live not necessarily makes you streamer. If I take the basic definition, if you went live, you stream, you're a streamer. Are you a pro streamer? Do you live from streaming? That's the other thing. But if you, I do take the side of if you do it, you are a streamer already. Are you a good streamer? That's different. Are you earning your keep from that? Whatever. But yeah, I understand your point. I don't find that controversial. You think that's a definition you want to adopt? Well, it can be,
because I also don't want to deter new streamers. And I'm actually directly quoting somebody that I just
It kind of reminds me, and sorry for interrupting, it's like the people that, oh, you play Candy Crush. You're not a gamer. You're a gamer. You just play Candy Crush. Something like streams once every month. Well, it's a streamer that streams once every month. And he doesn't live from that. But that's why I use a very basic definition. And then add on top of that like layers if that person does it full time, it's just a hobby, casual streamer, no cam streamer, whatever. So
yeah. And if we tie it back,
it can be controversial. Some people are very like passionate about their definitions and blah, 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 but whatever.
And my perspective is, if we go back to our musician or even our athlete examples that we've done so far, you know, just because you ran around the block doesn't make you Olympian athlete, right? In my opinion, but that's where you start.
That's fair.
You start by running around the block. You start about walking around the block. You start by thinking about walking around the block, right? You have to
but then taking that first walk outside is equivalent of hitting that go live button.
Exactly.
And if you stick to it and you start getting better at it, okay, then now I can get your point. That's why I don't see it's necessarily controversial, but I understand where you come from.
And I didn't mean to derail it, because that's actually Watch Holly, who's actually in the chat right now. Had a tweet about that, which actually sparked this like kind of whole inner monologue in my head about it. Like I was like, oh man, because it became a controversial tweet, believe it or not. And I don't think anyone was necessarily wrong.
Oh, absolutely. It has the marks of the hot take and whatever, and people get like super riled up about it, ruffle some feathers and whatever. And
nobody's necessarily right or wrong. It's very opinion. But like, listen,
yeah, it's an opinion. Exactly. I don't know if there's a definition, a clear-cut definition.
Exactly. But to tie it back to what we were talking about before, so you don't need a lot of gear to get started, right? You don't need a webcam if that's what you want, but getting started is the hardest part. But what it really comes down to,
I do think there is a like the bare minimum, some people use the terminology MVP, which is like minimum viable product. So if you're doing it as a hobby, or then make the jump to at least a part-time, so you still generate some income, but you have your regular job or whatever, I do think there's a minimum thing that you should strive for, which is extremely cheap. The barrier of entry is so low that 99.9% of people, if you have a computer and internet connection, you probably have that minimum thing. I think we can save that for the part of the do's and don'ts that we have prepared, because it's kind of like a bullet list, I think.
In a minute here for sure. The do's and don'ts.
Yes.
No, I do agree. There's a bar of entry. That is true, and that's just the reality of streaming, right? Stable internet connection, something to stream from, but it also depends on what you want to get out of it, right? If you're just doing it because you enjoy it, because it's a hobby, because it's fun, you really don't have to go further from that. But if you want to grow, if you want to be that part-time streamer with growth, that full-time streamer that quits their day job, there is development that needs to happen over time. But you only get that development through practice, through understanding the tools you have before introducing a new tool. So introducing a new mic, a nicer camera, some lighting, that kind of stuff. So the barrier of entry is low, but if you do want to make it your thing forever, know that there's a trajectory upwards. Does that make sense? Did anything I say make sense? That
does make sense, and you need to have some thirst for growth and improvement. If you want to devote yourself to this, while you say, and I 100% agree, you don't need the best in class gear to start. There's a minimum. We're going to talk about that, which, like I said, everyone already has that. If you have a connection, a laptop or a computer or even a console, you can stream straight from your PS4 or PS5 or whatever. You already have Xbox, what it takes.
You gotta make sure, or Xbox,
or an Xbox, exactly, also works. So, but if you find that you want to improve, and people stagnate, is that the word? Like if they don't want to improve what they do, it's like what some people talk about. That's the difference between the hustle, that day job grind, or whatever you want to call it, soul crushing grind. Some people, because you go, okay, I have to make the hours, go get there at 8 or 9 or wherever, sit down in the computer, do this mind-numbingly horrible, annoying, boring, horrible shit of work, and do this for the next 8 or 9 hours or whatever. And then when you return home, you feel miserable, and when you are streaming, in this case, we're talking about streaming, of course. So yeah, I have the bare bone gear. I can do it, and I can have a successful stream with this. But of course, it will be better if I get a better webcam, if I get a better mic, if I make a more cute or beautiful or whatever a scene, better transitions, better graphics. So
and all that stuff helps, but at the end of the day, I actually had a moment.
Helps, but doesn't make the content.
Where I'm gonna leave names out of it. I had someone reach out to me, and it was very awesome. And I'm not the only streamer that's had this experience. I've kind of heard this throughout a variety of it. And we'll actually kind of segue this into you variety streaming versus my kind of more niche streaming. Is a lot of the times the people that are coming to your streams, and now having the better equipment, having the better aesthetic, I mean, it does help. It gets the click, it gets people there, and the game you're playing, it gets people there. But
the analogy I want to use about the stuff you see, like you said, it gets people there. Of course, it's like having a super tasty meal in a beautiful fancy restaurant. Of course, it enters by the eye. It looks so good, man. I want to eat that. I want to sit there. The fancy lamps and the decorations and the music playing, everything looks so good.
And this is where
then you taste the food, and the food is good. Maybe there's a little home and pop place that is run down, but the food is so good. That is the content. That's why you don't necessarily need all the fancy bells and whistles.
You don't.
It's better to have, but
the message I got, and what I was kind of leaning towards here, was I'm playing a game that a particular person in my community actually doesn't enjoy. They don't like it, but they come every time and they send me a message about it and be like, hey, I may not be there, and super active in your chat and everything, because, I don't really care for this game, but I enjoy you. And that's what you're the content, right? Bingo. And people come back for you, not necessarily the game you're playing, so you gotta not worry as much about that. Not necessarily for my fancy lights and my my art background, which features art from our community, but they come back for you as the individual.
100%.
So focus less on the gear in the beginning. Focus on how you're presenting yourself for a community that you want to be a part of. And a lot of people say fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it, but at the same time, you want to make the bed that you want to sleep in. So you're the content. Focus on what you are bringing to your viewers if you want to grow. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And I haven't heard from our moderator Steven in a while. Are we doing all right, Steven? How are we on time and everything?
You guys are doing great. I have one question, and it does touch a little on full-time and part-time, if we can trace back a little bit to that.
Absolutely.
Aquatic Gem said, as a full-time streamer, how has streaming impacted you mentally and physically? It's a little deep, but it kind of touches on, the long-term effects of, sitting down for a little while. And so I guess they would love to touch on that.
So
Aquatic Gem, right?
Yeah. So Rick, if you want to take the full time, I'll even talk about the part-time experience for that. But why don't you take, because it was
because part-time already takes a toll. But I want to thank you for your question first. It's a really good question. Like everything worth doing and everything that you're passionate about, it will take a lot of mental energy, a lot of focus, especially if you want to do it for a living, which is my case, which I'm already doing it for a living. So, and besides, streaming itself ain't easy because you have to be aware of the game you're playing, the conversations you're having. Might be more than one conversation, might be a bunch of them, depending on how active your chat is. You have to be aware of the terms of service at all times, mindful of what you say, mindful of what people are saying. You have to monitor your technical stuff, like the upload is fine, I'm not dropping frames. So it's like a lot of things that are going through when you're going live, and that's just talking about the stream. Then the other things we were mentioning, all the work you have to do behind the scenes to make the stream run smoothly, to have good content, because it's like Kerb was mentioning, it's not like having the best gear, but you do have to have quality content, and quality content takes work. Quality content can be in the form of how do you greet people? How do you handle several conversations? Do you have video alerts? Do you have a good phone alert? Even if you don't have the best gear, you can still find, oh, this is a good gift, and it makes people smile or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to do at times. So yeah, it does take a lot of energy. I work a lot more now than I did when I had my day job. I mean, I still have to go wake early, cook my lunch, cook the lunch for Tisha. She still has a day job, so she goes to the office. We pack some food for her because, of course, we can't afford to eat or order delivery food all the time. So the regular thing people needs to do, every person needs to do. But that takes time. So I did do my hours before the stream because there's like a little pre-stream part. Okay, making sure everything's ready. Then the stream itself and the post-stream, but that's going on another subject. So that also, if you stream for 5 hours, then you give or take need an extra hour split between before and after, like for the raid, and you stay on the raid a while and chat and make new friends and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of things. It does take a toll. It's hard. Streaming is not easy. I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but I've seen it take a toll on a lot of people that do it part-time or people that want to do it full-time. And I told Kerb this when we were talking, and Steven as well. I got a lot of messages. Some, oh, you're a full-time streamer. Man, you're living the dream. You're so good. You get paid to play games? Wow, I want to do that. And I was like, calm your tits. Let's talk a little bit. I mean, it is true. I play games. I enjoy it. I get paid. But it's not like that. It's not like I'm living the dream yet. It's a lot of hard work. It's very misunderstood by people. I even had a case with one of my brothers. I'm not gonna go there. It's a bit of a dark story, and yeah, it takes a toll. Physically, you also mentioned physically. I'm gonna wrap up because I don't want to spend all the time. We're supposed to have a Q&A at the end as well. So if anyone gets another question or wants to go deeper into one of the subjects, that's fine. But it actually benefited me physically. A lot of people are
physically interesting.
Yes. Why is that? Because I started to discover, and well, you see all the white hairs in my beard. I'm not a young person. I'm not super old or anything, but I'm a dinosaur for Twitch average streamer age. Basically, I started to feel like, oh, you spend 5-6 hours, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, sitting in front of the computer, which is not much different from your day job. Let's face it, especially if you're a graphic designer, you will be sitting down for 7 or 8 hours in front of a computer, in front of plotters or whatever. So, but I started to notice that, yeah, I need to stand up every hour, walk. I had the fitness challenge redeems. I started doing some squats, some exercise. Then I started eating health. Yeah, and I started minding what I eat. I'm no longer drinking sugary drinks. I don't only have black coffee, no sugar. It's one of my catchphrases. What are you drinking? Black coffee, no sugar. I like my caffeine. I have water here, so it actually has helped me like get some healthy habits going. And there's also a fact with my dad that I go visit him twice a week, and I walk. I don't have a car. I don't have plans to buy a car, so I walk 4 kilometers visiting him, 4 kilometers returning. Twice a week. That's good for me. I have lost so much weight, and the best part is that has improved my energy levels for the stream. I look better, I'm thinner, I feel healthier. So yeah, it has actually, I know that's not the norm. Most people start like eating Doritos and chugging Mountain Dew and eating chocolates and whatever, and they are sedentary playing games. So, and they start getting health issues about that too.
Well,
but in my case,
dude,
which is awesome. Super weird, it has actually benefited me physically. Mentally, it is really exhausting, really demanding. It takes a lot of energy. But then this is not something exclusive to stream. And I will end on that note because I don't want to discourage anyone. Whatever you want to pursue and you want to get into art, try getting into art and drawing and see if that's not stressful. If you don't see, I don't see progress, and you start throwing the paper, fuck this. And, you know, everything that's worth pursuing will take a lot of willpower and mental energy. So that's not something exclusive to streaming. And I want to emphasize that to not discourage anyone that wants to try going live. My final phrase for this question is, if you want to try it. If you don't like it after trying, that's fine. But you did try it. You might discover something about yourself and learn about yourself by trying. And you find, you know what? I like this. I will pursue it further and see where it leads. So that's healthy, to be open about trying stuff.
That's true. That's true. And I wouldn't say that yours is that weird of a circumstance when you say physically that you are getting better, but I think that you just approached it properly. So as a part-time streamer, I have my moments. There's definitely moments where I'm either very nervous or like I'm like, I'm so tired. I just got off work. I stream directly when I get home from work. Like directly. I get in the door, take a quick shower, sit down, have my pre-stream routine, and then go right to it. And there's definitely times where I'm like, man, like this is hard. Like, do I cancel it? I can't cancel. I care about them too much. I want to see them, right? Like, and so it can be mentally taxing. It can be. And
it can be.
Aside from all the stuff you've already listed, which is all the work that goes into it, and just like any work, there's some exhausting parts of it. But overall, for me, the reward and the journey is worth it. Right, it's something I'm passionate about, something I very much so enjoy, but we have to also make sure that we're not only not discouraging people, but also letting them know those feelings are okay, those feelings are valid. Take breaks,
and they are natural, and they happen to you. And especially in your case, Kerb, since you're part-time, you mentioned you come home straight from work and get a shower, get ready, sit down and do your thing. But I feel for you because I was not full-time there was a big chunk of my streaming journey where I was still in my day job, and by that time I think I also did like 2 or 3 streams per week, and it was like that. I came home tired, but there is something I'm gonna segue into that phrase I always use, and I don't want to make anyone. That's just what works for me. You have to. It's also a journey of self-discovery. You need to know what works for you. Some people might be more number oriented. That's fine. Then those people might thrive with number oriented goals. Like I want to get X amount of followers this month or X amount of subs. If that doesn't mess with your brain chemistry because you get to know yourself better, that works for you. There's nothing wrong with number goals. I mentioned that. But if you see, that's making me depressed because I got a follower and then I lost 2 and now I am F5 refreshing the follower count. Then you're obsessed by numbers, they bother you, they get you down, then you turn off the follower counter and focus on other things. Like I said, it's very important to be honest with you, what you're trying to get from this. But to what Kerb said, that when I came home from work, I was super tired, I had a shitty day at work, the clients were horrible, whatever, blah, 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 the machine broke. And then still have to do, oh my God. And I very rarely or never, and that's what I say that works for me, I don't cancel the streams. And you know why? And I'm not judging anyone that it's very common, and it is because it is mentally exhausting, and most people don't do this full time, so they have their jobs, their study, if they're students, they take care of their mom, my dog, my friend, my brother, whatever. People have their lives, that their lives might be complex, they might have to do a lot of things that are already draining. And then on top of that, you have to come and sit down for 2, 3, 4 hours, entertain people, be friendly to people, make new friends. That is in itself something that can be draining. So you're coming already drained to do something that requires you in your tip-top shape. Totally understandable why people cancel. I never cancel for 2 reasons. One, I am already full-time, so this is my job. You don't call, you know what? I'm with a mug, sorry, just... You don't call home. I don't know. I have a bad day. I'm not gonna work, because you know why? You need to be there because you're gonna get fired. You need the money to pay your rent and your utility bills and the food. So that's why you don't really. I mean, if you're sick, like dying, of course you call in sick. But even if you're having a rough mental day or whatever, or a low energy day, you usually go to work anyway. So in my case, I see this as my line of job. I respect it. It is super duper important to me, even if it's something I love and I'm passionate. This is my job, so I won't cancel. I respect my job. I will be there. My community wants to be there with me. I want to hang out with them. I love what I do. And the other reason is that, and this is also important to the people that want to get into this hobby, part-time, or dream about full-time, whatever. There's nothing wrong with dreaming about making a living out of this. That's fine. You need to have dreams and aspirations. Otherwise, how will you take steps to get there? Is that if you cancel, you might miss an opportunity. You might miss a huge rate from your favorite streamer that will get you a bunch of new friends. You might miss an opportunity. So that's why, that actually what bothers me. That's why I don't, and of canceling streams ever. I think I canceled one during the virus I got because I was feeling real bad health wise. So that's when if you see Ribs cancel a stream, it is because I am really fucking dead or had some emergency or force majeure. Because otherwise, this is what I love to do. And this applies to everything. If you want to get into drawing and you have to draw every day, I'm not feeling like drawing today. You know what? That's the day you need to draw the most, because that's the day you exercise your discipline muscle. That's the day and usually, 99% of the time, when you start drawing, you get in the flow of things and you start enjoying it. So that's part of the, and Kerb probably knows that word we hear a lot, procrastination. Like, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow.
I love procrastinating.
Everyone does. I'm human too. I do it a lot. Like you said, I'm not some superhuman being. I'm just a small-time, full-time streamer. I'm growing. Yes. I'm getting my paycheck every month. Yes. But I am not living the dream. I'm working my ass off doing something I really love. And making friends along the way, and the most important thing, to stop here because I know we need to move on.
Yes,
enjoying the ride.
I'm gonna just say
the ride.
One last thing on the mental and physical health topic of it, and it's something I say all the time. It's become a bit of a mantra or motto for a lot of my streamers, like my streams and everything, which is IRL before URL. You definitely do have to still make sure you're taking care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of yourself mentally. And I'm not trying to say anything against what you were saying, but there's some people like that do this as a hobby or part-time where we don't rely on the paycheck. Like, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Like, people will feel it if you come in without your heart in it. And like, you are a good use case, Ribs, where you're so passionate about it that you can come in on a sick day and it still be an amazing time. But some people won't have that same kind of energy level. So I just want to make sure that,
and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to make sure I don't want people. Oh, those motherfuckers smug. That's what works for me. That's what works for me. That's what works for
you.
That's why I told everyone.
Care of yourself is all I'm saying.
You need to take care of what works for you. If you need to cancel, by all means, cancel. I have done it. I just try to avoid it for many reasons, which I listed some of them. But there's nothing wrong because you know you better. I don't know you as better as you know yourself, right?
I guess we could sum it up as everybody's circumstances are different, and don't be afraid to do what you need to be there.
Maybe that the thing I want to get through with this, because one of the things I'm passionate about, and you already mentioned when you were talking about the minimum gear, also game choice, because that person that you mentioned that keeps coming to your stream because they enjoy your stream, they enjoy what you say, what you do, you entertain them, or maybe they enjoy the company of others in the community, which is fantastic. That's the ideal thing, that people love the atmosphere, love the streamer, and love the people in chat. And the game is like secondary or even tertiary to me. Say that all the time because I'm a variety streamer, so you will see me playing lots of different games. Even if I am super methodical about the games, we're playing this game every Monday because we're achievement hunting it until we get everything. That's something else, but I will be swapping games all the time. So you don't need to worry about like, what if I stop playing this, I will lose this person. The people that enjoy your stream and the others in chat, they will come no matter the game. Like I say, and this is to end and move forward, is that every stream to me is a just chatting stream where we play some games or do whatever the fuck. But we are talking to the people that decide to give me some of their time, to give the others in the room some of their time, make new friends, make new connections, bonds, whatever. So that's why I treat every stream technically as a just chatting stream, while we might be doing some achievement hunting or playing Stream Raiders or whatever activity we want to do in the site.
I echo that. And again, everybody's streams are going to be different. You're cultivating a community. It's like what I said, you're making a bed that you want to sleep in. So your community is going to reflect a lot of the parts of you that you enjoy. You and I are very much so just chatting streamers with a side of games, but there are people that are, say, speedrunners, high-level esport players that don't do that, and you could totally go that way as well. Because Absolutely. We're running just a little bit low on time, and I want to make sure that we have a good amount of time for a Q&A. We're gonna skip over just one of our topics. Let's move more to because this is geared towards new streamers, there's a lot of Twitch etiquette, right? And a lot of it we learn in the moment. Sometimes we get hard checked, sometimes we get soft checked, sometimes we just had to look it up because we didn't understand phrasing or anything.
Sometimes
like
we get ass blasted. Why did you do that?
Exactly. So I just kind of want to move into kind of like a more of a do's and don'ts for a new streamer, and some of that Twitch etiquette. So like one of the first ones we talked about off stream, and we've mentioned it kind of extensively throughout this first episode, is building a community and providing a place with like-minded individuals come to like hang out with you where you're the content and everything. So with that said, something that a lot of new, like brand new streamers fall into, I'll just kind of sum it up into two things, is follow for follow and self-promotion, like within streams. You and I, we do a lot of shout outs. We love promoting our communities, but that's not necessarily something that the greater Twitch etiquette has. So I just want to see if you had any comments on that before I start diving deep in there.
On the shout out thing, or promoting your friends specifically?
More so on going into another stream expecting, because
yeah.
You have somebody just today that did that? Or was that yesterday?
I have people like that relatively frequently, but not often, because I don't give the opportunity, in the sense that I'm the first, hey, I know this person streams, or someone you follows, I immediately ask, are you a streamer? I click their name, I see, oh, this person has 142 followers, probably streamer. Click their name, put them in the spotlight, let's fucking watch this about page. And I go out of that way proactively to check everyone that comes to see if they are a streamer or not. For many reasons. One is that I do my things my own way, and I know it goes against the grain of Twitch. That's why what Kerb said, you need to be aware of that. There is a Twitch etiquette, like in everything in life. The Twitch people themselves, they have like a frequently asked questions about, like, or a Twitch etiquette blog article or whatever. You can read it. It's very like the basics, of course. Most people usually understand that out of like natural instinct, but some people don't. Like you mentioned, follow for follow, and that's something that is also on Twitter, on Instagram. That doesn't work anywhere, not only on Twitch. That doesn't work anywhere. That is not networking. That's not how you grow a user base, a fan base, whatever you want to call it, a community, if you want to call it a community. That's an interesting word. I don't think we have time to go into what, because you can have, like you mentioned, speed running. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to be sure what you want to get out of streaming. If you want to be focus on speed running and getting better times, and a lot of people watch and that streamer never reads chat, and that's fine. People in chat, they just want to see that guy break a new record. That's fine. That's a valid way of streaming. But in Kerb's case, or my case, we are community focused. We like to chat. We like to learn about ourselves by learning about others. We want to improve ourselves, inspire other people, and play some games. Why not? So everyone has a different reason why they stream, and you just gotta know that. That's why you need to do a lot of introspection, look inside and see, what do I want to get out of this? Because maybe community building is not for you. Community building is not easy. It requires a lot of work. And yes, but to answer your thing, the follow for follow doesn't work. And the etiquette, so self-promo, basically what I wanted to say is that the rule of thumb is never talk about your stream unless the streamer asks you, or the streamer decides to shout you out. That's different. But what you mentioned, some people come, hey Rips, I'm going live in 1 minute, see you there, bye, lurk. So I don't care, I just chuckle, but you will get ass blasted, you will get destroyed for doing that in most channels. Some people are very like rough. They treat others, oh look, and they clip them and show them, oh look at this motherfucker, self-promo, bitch. I don't like that either. I find that's very cynical. Maybe that person didn't know.
Well, it
maybe
also doesn't work.
And it also doesn't do anything, and it doesn't work. That's why I don't care in the end. I never panic. Oh man, this person mentioned he's going live. I'm going to lose my 5, 15, 20, 50 million viewers, whatever. That doesn't work. No one will go watch that stream. No, I can guarantee you 0 persons will leave my stream to watch that stream. So I'm not worried about that at all. That's why it doesn't do anything for me. But be careful,
a new streamer, you might not know that, because self-promotion is a thing, just in general, in everyday life. And these are colleagues in a way, if you want to view it like a work.
They are. Teach them, lead by example. Yeah. That's what I try to do.
But that is something that's a pitfall, and it's something I fell into as well. I was playing when I first started streaming. I was playing Curse of the Dead Gods, and I had somebody come into my chat, was hanging out and everything. I was brand new. I was averaging like 6 viewers at most, right? And I was like, oh man, I really want to go check this person out. And I did. I checked them out, and you know, they were playing their game, and I was like, oh, I really love that. I said something around these lines. I can't remember the exact phrasing. I was like, I wish I knew that when I was streaming it, right? Or something along those lines. And I got blasted.
Yeah, I know,
I got blasted to the point that
just
I almost was like, maybe I don't want to stream anymore. And some people are going to have that reaction. So it's something to consider. When you're in somebody else's stream, you're following their rules. And a lot of times they haven't written out. And if not, a global etiquette is, you don't talk about it unless.
Yeah, global rule of thumb to be safe etiquette. Don't mention that you stream or plan to stream unless you are used to, you can read the room, you can read the rules. Most people have them down there, or even when you click in chat for the first time, some streamers have configured on their preferences like a little message that pops that say chat rules or something like that. And most of them will be like no self-promo, no spam, no whatever. So that your mileage may vary. Some people consider, like Kerb said very innocently, naively, like, oh, I wish I knew that when I start streaming. Someone says that in my chat, it doesn't bother me. I don't find it offensive in the minimum. Like I say, I got people like, okay, I'm going live now. But some people will go batshit crazy that you mentioned. Oh, you're mentioning streaming. Get out of here, blah. And they send a mods, they ban you, and they insult you and whatever. I've been there too, in the most stupid ways. That's one of my dreams, story time. Feel free to ask about that on stream, because I don't want to eat the time for the podcast on that.
I'll ask you about it tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
No, I agree though. And something to note is that is kind of the more global etiquette. Is that
because the prevalent mindset, hyper competitive, hyper cynical, that I'm trying to fight. That's one of the reasons I do it this way, because I think there's a better way. Okay, you don't have to be like as open as I am, or as Kerb is, or as some other streamers are with the shoutouts. Some streamers are very generous with their promotion of others, and I promote even people that are not streamers. I show their art on my stream. I show their Behance. I go them. They are commissioned artists, or if they are musicians, we listen to the music, whatever. Because I love that, because that music inspires me, that art inspires me. And so shoutouts, not necessarily only for streamers. I do a lot of streamer shoutouts as well, of course. But that's the thing, you just need to learn if that person is more open. If you come to Rips, it's a safe place. I actually encourage everyone to talk about their streams, because that's one of the ways I can learn what they are doing, because it's impossible for me to be, I follow hundreds, if not thousands of people. I can be everywhere. So I will miss streams, it's natural. So, but that's just me. So rule of thumb, to be safe, everyone starting or wants to start, never mention you're a streamer unless you know it's safe to do, unless you get to know that person better, or unless that person asks you, how was your stream? And then you can talk a little bit, because the streamer itself asks you, so it's fine.
And also, but just avoid some these streams, like when you are a new viewer, don't go into these streams for the sake of self-promoting or the networking or anything like that. Actively try to be part of these people's communities, right? Like you and I are very community
focused.
That's
networking. That's the definition. You need to be an active part, and that's why it takes so much time. You need to be an effective block of time to chat to some people, and that some people get to know you and they get familiar with your name. You need to be 30 to 60 minutes at least chatting, engaging with the streamer, with other people in the chat. Otherwise, if you pop in, hi, lurk, that will never get you nowhere. But if people get to know, oh, this is X person, this is the guy that works at the music shop. Hey, how many instruments did you sell today? Oh man, you sold 5 guitars, that's awesome, blah, blah, and you start conversations or whatever. So that's networking. And that's what networking doesn't work. I tried. Of course you didn't try. What you tried was getting into 5 different channels that evening in 3 minutes, saying, hi there, lurk.
Not the same.
That won't work. If you want to get organic growth on your friends, you need to put some time.
We are running a little bit low on time, speaking of time. So we're going to kind of speed run these last little do's and don'ts that we read, because I really want to have dialogue with the community and whatever questions.
Me too. We thrive from that.
So follow. One real quickie thing is, after your first 50 follows actually don't matter. What matters is your viewership retention. So your friends coming back in, your community members coming back in. If you're a speedrunner, you are strictly, doing your game and their entertainment. So it's viewers that are popping through. Is after 50, it doesn't actually matter. So things like follow for follow actually doesn't work, because unless they're going to be active parts of your community, active parts of your chat, hanging out in your streams, it's I wouldn't say a pointless number, but bigger number doesn't necessarily mean bigger or better person in that case. Tying that into analytics obsession, using analytics as a tool is a wonderful thing to do, because you can see what worked, what didn't, how can you grow, how can you adjust, how you can pivot. But obsessing over them will have a very, very rough time on your mental health. It'll horrible. And avoid, like, I don't have viewer counts on when I stream. I don't know how many people are there ever. I don't know until like after stream when I'm going back to it, because when I first started, I obsessed over it. Oh, there's 4 people here. A lot of 6 people here. There's 10 people here. And then you get nervous. Oh my God, what do I do? There's 10 people. If you get 10 people in a room, that's a lot of people in a room that are now looking at you, right? So that's another, like I said, we're kind of speed running through these just because I want to get to the questions. And if you want to add, feel free to interrupt me. But analytics obsession, it's not the way. It's not the way to go. I love analytics. I love looking at numbers. My mod and I frequently graph, and he'll like actually build out graphs and spreadsheets and stuff for us to like look at, and because we enjoy that part of it, but we're using it as a tool. Use it as a tool, not as a way to grade your
Yeah, it is just information. It can make you make better choices or improve your stream. In the end, you just want to provide value. You want to provide good content, a good space. So if you're using that information as a tool, like you mentioned, to figure out, oh, people love this alert, people love this game, so maybe we play more in this genre, people blah, blah, blah. Whatever you find in your analytics, not getting obsessed with them, like you mentioned, that's a big no-no, big don't. Avoid at all costs. It will fuck you. If you need to turn off that viewer count, like Kerb said, absolutely go do it, because that, like he said, at the end, maybe if you want to strive for a partnership down the line or whatever, you will need a certain number of viewers. That's a fact of Twitch. It's like you need a 50 to affiliate, you need a 3 average viewership, whatever. But once you cross that, you don't need to care about that. So if that bothers you, oh, I went down 5 viewers, oh, I feel so shit. Turn that off. Take good care of yourself. A lot of streamers I know do that.
Because what you're doing is you're pretty much just cultivating a creative space for yourself, and those numbers aren't supposed to hurt you because data isn't biased. They're just tools that
data is just data, it's just numbers. You need to learn to read them. That's the other thing. A lot of people read that, oh, I lost 5 average views, I'm a failure, I'm not cut for this. Well, you can decide to interpret the numbers away. Oh, why don't you interpret, oh, you know, people are getting vaccinated, so they have less time to watch streams, now they're going back to work. That might be an interpretation. That's a healthier interpretation. So, but you already know I have imposter syndrome kicks in full gear. And then you start questioning yourself, and then that's why I love looking at my analytics. I look at them once or twice every month. I feel like I need to. I do this for a living, but I am very careful how I interpret, how I analyze the data, and I use then that data to make choices about what I'm gonna do.
And I 100% agree with you. So last little do's and don't on our list, which ties into probably my last big tip for someone that's starting right out, is you can't really expect anything from anybody else, from other streamers, from your viewers, from your friends, from your community. So don't go into it expecting returns, right? Like, for example, today I'm having you on this podcast as my first guest, and I was like, no dude, you don't, like, because you're like, I'm gonna raid you. I was like, no, well, I just want to make sure you know that that's not why I'm having you here, right? Because you can't expect things like,
you nailed it in the head. You didn't expect me to raid. I raided you because I fucking wanted to raid you. I wanted to bring my people here. I wanted them to enjoy the podcast, to get to know the podcast. Like you mentioned, follow for follow. You know, I follow everyone that I know is a streamer that comes to my stream. I follow them. I don't care if they follow me back. I don't expect them to follow me back. I don't expect anyone coming from a raid to follow me. My mantra, like you mentioned, mantras I have a motto as well, a mantra, whatever you want to call it, on Twitch and for life in general. I never expect anything from anyone, but I am grateful for what they decide to give me. So if they follow me, of course I'm gonna be happy. If they raid me, I'm gonna be happy. When I follow, I got a raid recently from someone. Sometimes you get raided by someone that's playing the same game you're playing, and that person, hey, but like you say, they come because they found you in the Twitch category browser and saw you were playing this game that they love, and they raided me. And then oh, you know what? I kind of like this guy. So they click that follow button because I tell them, hey, dude, thank you for the rate and thank you for following me. I appreciate it. I follow them back. If they unfollow me when I stop playing the game, I don't unfollow them, but that's just me. That's for me, follow is free. Follow doesn't mean that you have to be there 24/7 whenever that person is live. That just means that you want to support them, because even if follow count is one of the numbers that matters the least, it still does something for streamers. I have been rejected from some opportunities because, knock on our door again when you get to 5,000 followers. So some people look for follower counts for whatever projects they have. If they want to sponsor you, if they want to give you a game or whatever, I don't know, an opportunity for you. So that's why it does matter. And that's why it's free. But every time I click that follow button, it's just because I know it matters, not because I'm expecting that person to follow me back. If they do, I will be forever grateful, but I never, and I think it's a healthy thing for you. Don't expect anything from anyone. That's tied into follow for follow. Oh, I follow you, I expect you to follow me, and then you start going to, I rated you, you have to rate me back. No, never do that.
And that's
never
what I was going to lead into. Like you don't ever go into someone's stream expecting to get something back from them either. So as people are coming into yours, you shouldn't expect anything from them. And when you're going in there, they shouldn't expect anything from you either. Why I kind of,
I mean, they can, but they are in for a world of pain.
And maybe not. Maybe they'll be pleasantly surprised. So what this is really tying towards is, I think it's very important for a new streamer to have goals, but I'm much more pressing that those goals can't rely on other people. It's nice to celebrate milestones, things like your 50 followers, reaching affiliate, 100, 200,000,
500,
celebrate those milestones.
Celebrate
100%.
Yeah.
But if
you deserve to celebrate them, because to get there, it needs a lot of work. That's
it needs a lot of work. But saying my goal is 1,000 follows means that I'm now relying on 1,000 other people to achieve that goal.
Click that button.
Your goal should be, how can I make better content? How can I stick to a schedule so people know where I am and how to get to me? How can I get better about using my social media? Right? These are goals that you can attain. Making goals that you can achieve.
That's a smart thing to do, dude. That we were separated at birth. We think alike in many ways, because I also keep saying a phrase that focus on what you can do. You can't move that other person's hand to click the button follow. You can focus on making the stream more engaging, or making the stream more fun, or making sure everyone that comes into chat, hey, welcome, how you doing? You know, that's important. That's what you can focus on. But aside that, this side of, okay, I already greeted this person, I was already warm and welcoming, it's up to them now. But don't care, don't expect them to follow because you were friendly to them. That's up to, you know what will happen? Very likely some of them will follow you because they will enjoy that you gave them some attention, that you are warm and welcoming to them. And but that's a goal, that's something that you can do. Whatever that person does with that is up to them. Don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat it, because it will give you a lot of pain and a lot of like, it will trigger the imposter syndrome and all that shit. So careful with that.
I agree. So I think in terms of this, like, just because we're running a little bit low on time, I want to open this up to our chat that is currently here. We are live on Twitch. We're going to be doing this podcast live the second to last Saturday or Sunday of every month. And at the end, I want to make sure there's a question section of it, and I'm sure Steven, our moderator, Steven, you're still around, I'm assuming, I hope.
Still alive and well.
Still alive. Oh, you sound perfect now. For some reason it came in way hot earlier. Do we have some questions that we should probably get going on? We have probably 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes of questions, I'd say.
We do. Well,
I enabled chat. Now I see the people. Hi, Pixie. How make it?
I know. I've been hiding because this whole time.
I was like sweating and like, I want to see chat. I want to see chat. Now I see chat. Reeps.
Well, let's still give Steven his job. Don't try to steal his job, Rips. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But Steven, what were some of the ones that were highlighted throughout the cast here?
Yeah, well, we were a little late. We have two questions. Another one from Aquatic Gem, and this is kind of an opinionated question. They ask, what might become the next random meta on Twitch?
What might be the next random meta on Twitch?
So metas, okay.
Fuck.
Damn it, dude! Why'd you do this?
I don't do the meta game.
So the meta game is its own own can of worms. And usually what you want to do to be able to catch the meta is watch your big streamers, but also know that once the big streamers are doing it, everybody's also
it's already too late.
Exactly.
It's like playing catch up, so that's why I don't engage in the shit. Following trends.
Mizkif, Pokimane.
Let's watch a TV series and get banned for a few days. Doesn't matter right now. Let's go.
So to know what it is, well, so the last meta was the TV movie meta, where pretty much they would find full-length TV shows or full-length movies on YouTube, because YouTube has a lot of fair use things, and they would watch it live on Twitch. And Pokimane actually ended up getting I think a 2-day ban or something like that for watching Last Avatar on it. And that was kind of dangerous in a lot of ways, because you know what that ends up hurting is actually a lot of the smaller creators, because these big creators, they're gonna be back. Maybe they'll get a slap on the wrist, they get a 2-day vacation out of it, but most of the time,
there was with that leak that happened a few months ago, that they leaked like a insane amount of terabytes of data from Twitch, the whole source code for the website and the payout data and all that. There was in that thing a list that was no ban list. So some partners are untouchable because they generate so much money that they fucking break the toss and nothing will happen to them. Or at least they get like slapped and banned for 1 or 2 days. And
a lot of times they come back with higher viewership after it too. Because
that's drama.
News.
That's part of the meta. I don't follow it. I don't judge people that play the meta game, but that's something that is not what I do here. Because like he said, like Kerb said, you look at the top 10, top 100 streamers, whatever they are doing. So I come up with my own thing. By the time I do it, I have this little joke here going on that when I become a partner, I will do a fundoshi stream. For those of you that don't know what a fundoshi is, it's like that thing that sumo fighters, sumo wrestlers wear, like a little diaper, or the Japanese traditional thing, the samurai underwear, whatever. That's the fundoshi. So it's like a little white cloth piece that barely covers your ball sack, and that's a fundoshi. So I'm gonna do that shit, man, when I'm partner, because if I get scolded for 1 day, I don't care, but I'm already partner, baby. Let's do it. So, you're following the meta game. No, I'm just doing it because I want to. I don't care about the meta.
You created the new meta. So to answer the question fully, Aqua, I think that was Aqua's question. I have no idea. It's hard to say. If you really are curious about the meta and are chasing the meta, just watch the big streamers. I'm talking 20K plus concurrent viewership, and you'll see it happen. You said there's another one though, Steve.
We do. We have one more from Naked Carla. She says, Ribs and Kerb, how do you advise new streamers to deal with toxic new members? Should they ignore, block? How do you both deal with that?
Okay, so and I'll turn this over to you, Ribs. I'm notorious for being a little too open and providing that space a little too long. The thing is, and this is something I struggle with, so this is going to be advice that I'm trying to follow myself, is you are providing your own space. You're providing your own community. They don't have to be here. And if they are being toxic, you shouldn't feel bad about the ban, because they're not going to jive with what you're doing, with who you have here, the people that do matter that are here. However, there's been a few times where I've actually DM'd the person and assumed a little bit of positive intent. Hey, are you all right? Is everything okay? I've done that a few times because I wear my heart on my sleeve way too often. And you know what? It's never been worth it. Don't be afraid to ban. If someone is not jiving with your space, they don't need to be there. And it sucks because you're like, that's one viewer, that's one follow, that's whatever. What if they say something to their friends? They're not meant to be there, in my opinion.
You don't want them there.
You don't want them there. And it's something I struggle with. I struggle with super hard. Not you, Gorilla. What are you talking about? Just saw someone troll me a little bit. No, like, and I've had to do a couple uncomfortable bans where I was too worried about the individual and how they felt, but it was legitimately bringing down my stream. And I try to provide a safe place for everybody, but my place isn't for everybody. What do you think, Ribs?
Basically, I wanna say this on the record and be completely transparent with all of you guys here. I've been blessed. I think I've gotten my almost 4 years as a streamer, couple of them full time. I banned 99% of my bans have been bots, and that's pretty much automated now. I got some help from mods and whatever. They have like a command that, like, if you type that I want to become famous, that gets you banned. And some people do it because they want to get banned. I unban them immediately. But that's one of most of them having bots. I don't remember if I've gotten someone truly toxic, horrible. I only remember one case that it was pretty much just a stupid console war stuff, you know, like, oh, you're playing on Xbox, fuck you. So, and that like little incident like that. So honestly, I just chuckle, get out of here, man, bang, get out of here. So I've been lucky in that sense. I've been blessed, but if it happens to me, of course, I'm prepared to deal with it. I have mods. I have myself. I won't engage. I will just, bang hammer and move forward with my stream. That's what I would do. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to use. You have block, ban, mute, whatever. You have tools that you need to use.
Right? To just soft check somebody. Hey, that's not
if it's something minor, someone trying to bring down the mood, like Kerb said, and I use this phrase a lot. Like I say, this is my stream, my rules. I will never let anyone make. But that's the other thing. Sometimes we have a lot of conversation, and it's not that I shy from some topics or anything, but we want to keep a certain mood, a certain vibe. So I have had people come like, oh, I've had a shitty day at work and this happened to me and my dog died and my mom got cancer diagnosed, and fuck, man, you had the worst day of your life. And we talk a little bit about that, but maybe some people bummer and then they go away. So, and I'm not saying, but if that goes like over, that's not toxic behavior. It's just someone venting, maybe, perhaps. And I tell people like that. That's why I didn't want to use that as an example, because it's not toxic behavior necessarily. Mm-hmm. Even if some people do stuff like that, like they call it sympathy fishing or something like that. Like people, oh, they always come because they want, oh, have a hug. I'm so sorry you're going through that. But guess what? Oh, everyone has issues. That's why there's nothing wrong with venting or mentioning bad things that happen to you, because that's why we have the community quotes. That's why I say community is not a word that should be used lightly, because you're supposed to care about your folks, about your regulars, or the people that support you. So of course, I wanna talk to you. I wanna know what's your life going, even if it's not the best moment. We all go through the shit moments in our lives. It's natural. It's part of life. But that's not toxic behavior. I will never ban anyone for that, unless they always try to drag down the stream. Then you notice that's a pattern there, and of course you don't want to have people like that, or at least, like I say, a timeout. Then you DM them, hey dude, if you want to talk, we can talk about this on Discord DMs or whatever. I've done that countless times.
Oh yeah, like I open up my DMs a lot.
Yeah, I'm not a therapist. I always emphasize that. I always go.
Not a doctor.
But I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever. But I've gotten help from people. When it was like I mentioned Duo before, I don't mention names. I think that was on my stream where we were doing compliment redeems, which is something I love. Thank you for using them. Because
Duo, we love
that was when I lost my job. So I was depressed and I didn't know what to do. It was impossible to find a job, whatever, blah, blah. Money was running out. So it was stressful. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what, let's fucking open Twitch. I want to watch someone playing Stardew Valley. And then I discovered a bunch of people. Some of them we talked DMs and we became friends. And
sure. But just to like make sure that I'm staying on the question for Carla here.
Sorry for
it is a very good question. No, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. I'm just running against the clock. We're just running. Carla, don't be afraid to use the tools that you provided to you.
Use it. Absolutely use that. They are there for a reason.
Exactly. And not every community is meant for everybody. I think Pixie's just mentioned something like that. And if I was to point at the queen of community example, I mean, Pixie is the forefront of my mind when it comes to building and providing a space for an amazing community. And I'm just going to read exactly what she said here, because it's good. It's really good. There are so many different people out there that one place can't possibly vibe with everybody. It could be conflicting, but I've learned as time has gone on that if the action I take make me or the community feel better, then I'm happier with it in the long run. And it's true. Like you're cultivating your space. Don't be afraid to use your tools. My mods are like Mateo de Fuego is king of flagging things in my chat for me that chat doesn't even see. Someone could come in and say something just completely off the wall and chat won't even see it. I'll see it.
And there's another thing, sorry for interrupting you, but there are more tools at your disposal now, not only the ban or the timeouts or whatever. And some people, I was in Cebu stream as a friend, and someone in his chat mentioned because that I there.
Oh, was that you?
No.
We lost the microphone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I got you.
Okay. Okay. No, I think I moved a cable by mistake. I think is it fine? Okay.
No,
sorry for that. Okay. What I was going to say is that there are other tools, and that person, I have like some, there are safety measures that Twitch added, like you can implement that people to be able to chat, they have to have their account verified, phone verification, or if they are new followers, they need to be following for X amount of days or months or whatever before they can chat, or they have some new tools like that. And I enabled some of them, not the most stringent protections, because I don't want to cut my legs of all growth. But I have gotten a couple of people messaging me, hey, dude, I can't say hi on your chat. My account is verified. And I tell them, well, I'm doing this as a protection for my community. I'm sorry you can chat. So use that stuff too. Use that stuff too, yes.
Tools equal mods. My mod is a tool.
Mods as well. Try to have a couple great mods as well. That helps tremendously, especially as the community grows and chat gets chaotic. So you will miss messages.
Speaking of mods, though, Steven, did we have any more questions? I saw a couple pop through.
We did. We have a few questions, or three that came in from Wombo Yeti. What is your favorite part of Twitch? Favorite feature, I'm assuming there.
Do you want to take that in, Ruse, or you want me to go?
What's your favorite part of Twitch?
Mm-hmm.
To me, the people, the friends, the community. That's the most important. That's paramount for me for what I do. I do love the gameplay. I do love the cheers. I love the emotes. The emotes are great, but to me, it's the people. It all boils 100%. Down to the people. That's what makes me come back. That's what makes me never cancel unless it's like I'm absolutely sick and I need to go visit my dad. It's an emergency, whatever. Because I just love being here. I love what I do. I love saying hi to other streamer friends. I love saying hi to people. To me, 100% the people.
I'm sorry, I just saw butt spot say Twitch equals butt, and it got me.
It is butt.
I'm going to echo exactly what you said, though. The thing that makes Twitch, in my opinion, and it's the reason I saw someone mention something about YouTube earlier, is the people. It's the community. It's the part of it's the etiquette. It's been around since it used to be just in TV. Do you remember that? Yes. That was so long ago, and over the years it has just started to blossom, especially recently with the pandemic. And it's the people. It's other streamers. Like, I've met so many awesome people that I've now game with on a regular basis. Like, I was just hanging out with a couple streamers on Friday off stream in Discord, just playing some games. And so the people is 100% what makes Twitch. The features are cool, but there's cool features everywhere. YouTube has cool features. What's the other one? Mixer's
cool
gone.
Features.
It had cool features, but there's a couple other ones that are floating around.
Facebook, Trovo, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there are
but that's the thing. You don't get this kind of culture everywhere. And that's what I appreciate about it. And then you said
that's the other thing, Kerb, right? That you mentioned, the culture or the etiquette or all that, is that Twitch is so massive. That's why everyone have their own way of running their stream. It's not necessarily for you. If you don't vibe with a community, it's fine to not hang there. If you enjoy a streamer but then they change and you don't like them anymore, that's fine to not be there. Mm-hmm. It's fine to follow. It's fine to follow. It's fine to use the tools they give you. Just find the space you like, man. In my case, the streamers I gravitate towards are people that are not necessarily like me. I know this is a minority. I'm the 1% of that minority of being like, I have no anti-self-promotion rule at all. I have no, for safety reasons, no, only VIP someone's composing, but it used to be before that. But since we saw the hate rates and all that, I decided to disable links. Only VIP someone's can.
Yeah, hate rates are rough.
But yeah, then Kerb has a similar approach. Maybe he's not as flexible as I am about self-promo or spam or whatever, but he's still
super rigid.
Sweat it. Yeah, he's serious. Look at his face. It's like watching a brick wall. No, I'm just kidding. Basically, find those streamers that you like. That is your Twitch sphere. You can be everywhere. Twitch is so massive. It's like a microcosm of society. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. There are asshole streamers. There are people that their stream is watching other streamers making fun of those people and clipping.
Yeah,
you don't like that content, right? You don't watch that. You can't report that probably because I think that's against the terms of service. But just find what works for you and what you like.
It's people, it's the communities, it's the culture. That's what keeps us loving Twitch. You said there's more of those, Steven. I don't know how many there are, so I'm trying to
we got a few here. So from Mateo, he mentioned, do you want to mention the new suspicious user tools?
So I did actually kind of mention that when I was talking about to answer Carla's question. So that is one of the newer tools, the suspicious user tools. So if you have mods, or even the streamer can flag things as a suspicious user, and when you do, what it does is, so you as the streamer and the mods will still see everything they say, but the rest of chat will not. And the reason that's good is if you're trying to see, okay, this person's a little on the fence, they said something a little risky, and I don't want it to derail the stream or offend anybody that's part of my community. By flagging them as a suspicious user, you can still respond to them. They could still be involved in your stream, excuse me, but not necessarily have the ability.
I am not that familiar with that tool. I think that tool came out recently.
I'm gonna have
I mean, I've used it once as a mod, sorry, on another channel. But if you flag a user as suspicious, you get to see the message. Everyone else that's not a mod or the streamer doesn't see them. But how do you reply to them? And if you reply to them, no one else also sees the reply, because it will make sense for them to see a reply to some user that they cannot see at all. So how does that work? I'm curious. I need to research that.
I mean, I don't reply to them in text. So what I do is, I fluctuate between reading exactly what chat is saying. So Carla right here, I'm learning new things, honestly, like I say that out loud. Or sometimes I will look at something and just respond to it. So I'll be like, oh yeah, no, that is crazy that you said that, Carla. Right. So I just kind of weave it in and out. So if it's something suspicious that I don't necessarily want to bring everybody, I address them. I still, say hi and talk to them directly, but without fully reading it out loud to broadcast in front of everybody. So, it is a new tool. We're going to have a streamer help section of the Discord that I'm currently working on. That's going to start highlighting some of these tools. It's where a lot of these podcasts will also live, the VODs. So just keep an eye out for that. We're going to try to keep it as up to date as possible. It's in the works. There's just a lot going on. But yeah, so that's the best I could say on that right now, Mateo. But Steven, you said there's more, right?
Sweet. Yeah, we got two more, and we got one from our MVP of questions, Aquatic Gem.
Heck yes.
Have you ever thought of streaming outside of Twitch, like YouTube?
Oh, I think I kind of mentioned this a little bit when it was like what your favorite thing about Twitch is, and I've considered it. I don't know if this is gonna be controversial or not, but I'm gonna do my best. So there's this culture of Twitch tutorial, streamer tutorial, new streamer content
Twitch Academy.
That is Twitch Academy or all that.
Whatever.
That I think applies to bigger streamers more so. And what it is too, it feels to me like it's more of a content dump to promote themselves. And a lot of people will say, hey, you know what you should be doing? You should be streaming to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and just ignore affiliate and don't get affiliate or anything like that. That's the way to go. You'll see that a lot on TikTok, or on Twitch Talk, I should say. You'll see that a lot on YouTube.
Advice, in my opinion.
And it could work for some, but I feel like, again, a lot of this content is not mostly geared to help you grow, but it's geared more for them to produce content. And that's why this podcast to me was something a little bit different. I wanted to have that open dialogue and show exactly what we're doing, as opposed to these kind of half-baked things. So it's a long-winded way of saying no, I haven't considered recently of streaming on YouTube. When I first started,
I'm getting a phone call.
No worries. I fell victim to being like, oh, I should be doing this. This is the only way to stream. And like, that's the way I want to grow, right? No, I've stuck just purely on Twitch. We've been growing. We have quite the upward trajectory. And so personally, not so much. Now, if I ended up, say, a million years away, this is not even a plan. Let's just say I was like the Ludwig Ogren, right, where you're offered a deal. Okay, maybe you'd consider it, because at the end of the day, the money talks there. But as of right now, it's not even on my radar. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm gonna make YouTube content for YouTube, but not streaming live on YouTube, if that makes sense. Hopefully that does make sense.
Yeah, to me, I never entertain it, to be honest. I mean, try to be aware what platforms there are, but not because I want to switch. I honestly don't want to switch. I enjoy Twitch enough. I think it's a solid platform, even if there are things that I don't like or things about how they are running the platform that I think can improve. The only way I change is that Twitch either dies or like perma bans me for maybe that Fundoshi stream will kill my Twitch career and I have to move somewhere else. I don't know. But basically, nope. I don't see myself moving, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's fine here. And I think that the thing, since community is paramount to what I do, and people that have moved to other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, gaming, whatever, maybe some of their like hardcore regulars or the people that enjoy the content the most will move there, but you will probably lose a lot of your community. So why the hell would I move if what I care the most is that people are here? Unless everyone decides to move, then that won't happen. So I don't honestly.
That if Twitch dies, I die with it. But you know, who knows? Who knows? The future's so far away. But yeah, that's just to sum up that question. It sounds like Ribs and I are both in agreement. No.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, also, I just want to read this. Okay, so yes, there was a good kind of follow-up kind of going on in the chat about that. Something to note is that when you achieve affiliate or partner, you're actually not allowed to do, it breaks your contract with Twitch to actually do streams at the same time. And then Pixie was following up in the chat here, which I also really like, is you also have to note that you can't post your content from Twitch to YouTube without a 24-hour gap between. So to me, when you get affiliate, that's when you get your emotes. That's when you get the ability to get subs and biddies and things of that nature. So why would you hinder yourself by breaking that contract and potentially losing everything?
I want to get into something here that I think is worth mentioning, even if it's not one of the questions Steven had. It's just I saw a message by The Echo The Wave. That it says that I know people complain a lot about discovery or discoverability perhaps on Twitch, but I feel that tools for streamers are pretty neat, emotes, channel redeems, blah blah. I want to talk about that part there, discoverability, algorithms. How do people find your stream? And I think that that's not an issue at all. And that's gonna be controversial. Ooh, Rips with a hot take. Why I say that's not an issue? Because Twitch is massive. It's like, have you tried writing a book? How many people will read your book? No one will read your book. How many people will see your art? No one will. There are 100,000 million starving artists out there. So what is different Twitch? I actually think it's not that bad, to be honest, compared to that. Try writing a book. Try getting people to read your book. Try getting people to listen to your music, to your Bandcamp or Spotify, whatever the fuck you put your music in. So to me, that's just... To me, that's people just complaining because you need to get out there, you need to do the work, you need to promote, you need to network, and that takes time. It's very hard. You need, like Kerb said, in my case, full-time. Even if you're part-time, you want to get eyeballs, right? You want to spread your content, your message. So then you need to do the PR, then you need to do that social media, then you need to do the word of mouth by engaging with other communities. So that's why I don't think discoverability is an issue. It's like when people, as a game developer, I also published some indie games before, and some people were talking about the indie apocalypse. Oh, my indie game is not seen. Because you know what? There are 40 games coming out every day on Steam. It's the same. There are 500 books coming out on Amazon self-publishing every day. So I don't think it's really an issue. If your content's good, you just need to do the work, and someone sooner or later will notice, and then it will spread from there.
Because why else hasn't the Pilk video gone viral? No, I'm just kidding.
I did Pilk. I don't know how many people watch it. I still had fun. I don't care. If it goes viral, we blow up. I'm not actively looking to blow up or anything. I actually think I would prefer steady growth over time. I get to know the people. I don't know if I want 100,000 viewers to come to me tomorrow, and that will destroy my vibe. It's not what I'm looking forward to, be honest.
And then Steven, you said you had more questions here. I could ramble on this all day. You know, I'm a very opinionated person.
If you need to rap, let me know, because I can talk I'm very passionate about streaming. I do podcasting. I can do this for hours and hours and hours.
Well, I'd say we probably have about 5 more minutes or so before we'll do a recap and probably rate out after that. So let's try to get through. How many more questions do we have, Steven? Let's try to get through these last ones that were submitted, and then we'll do. I'll do a little recap at the end, and we'll end up rating out.
Well, that's perfect. We actually only have one more question, so this
Perfect.
actually is a beautiful way to close it. From Nancy Twigs says, "What do you both expect from Twitch in the next 5 years?"
Ooh, that's a good one. So do you want to go up first on this one, Ribs?
What do I expect from Twitch in the next 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, there are many ways to answer this, but I think I will say the first one is that I think Twitch will still be the leader platform. YouTube might keep growing. I don't know. They tried taking people out. Ninja's back here. Went from Mixer, whatever. I honestly don't watch those huge ass partner streamers. I know they are important to the platform. The platform needs them. The platform also needs more medium-sized partners, affiliates. I do think that the affiliate partner thing will change. I don't know if that makes too much sense to have like a tier 3 average viewership and then the next one 75. That's a million orders of magnitude. It's so hard to get from 3 to 75 average viewerships. Honestly, I expect them to improve the tech, of course, the basics. But I don't think it'll change much. I think the meta will change, of course. Maybe Twitch will have the OnlyFans, the lewd. I don't fucking know where it'll go, but
the 18 plus section.
I don't think they will go there because it will be a nightmare for advertisers and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I think it will still be the leader platform. I think they will probably change the way they work with their affiliate versus partner, because that doesn't make much sense to me.
I mean, if I could jump in there, I do agree. I think that's going to be the biggest change we see, because you have payouts changing to attract other people away from Twitch with Facebook gaming and YouTube. I think it's YouTube gaming. I think they haven't switched to YouTube Live yet. I think that's in the word. I have to double check that. But their payouts are better than Twitch, and the minimum required to get the check is also less than Twitch. So Twitch, you have to accrue at least $100 in order to get the payout to your PayPal or however you get it cashed to you. And I think in like YouTube and Facebook, it's something like $10, something like super low. I don't quote me on the actual numbers there. So I think that it's mostly going to change to the partner affiliate, how you get paid, how you get to that point. But also I do think that if they want to keep caught up, we're going to start seeing a more YouTube approach to Twitch in the next 5 years, like extended.
In what sense?
VODs.
Like the VODs? Oh, okay.
Extended VODs, being able to upload specific content. I have a feeling that for them to start saying,
I think you can do that already. You can unload a video, make it like a premiere or something, or am I seeing shit? Or that was like a test drive? I think I saw that feature once.
I know that they were beta testing that for a while, but the biggest thing is I think everyone's gonna get their animated emotes finally within the next 5 years. I'm
still waiting.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Ribs. Thank you so much for being part of this podcast. I'm gonna do a little full sign off here. Any last minute things you want to say to anybody?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. I knew it was gonna be a blast, but it was even better than I like I said, I could talk for hours about these topics.
It's gonna be a 5-hour stream.
Yeah, it's what I love to do. It's what I do for a living. I hope some people found something useful hearing all the things we mentioned. I know this is going to get added to YouTube as well. So guys, a call to action is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to ask for you to follow me. That's up to you. But I'm going to ask you to follow Kerb on YouTube. He's going to be uploading the podcast there. You know, I'm the first guest, but I know more amazing streamers will be here where I am today, sharing their knowledge. We'll probably see part-timers, full-time streamers, partners, even people that you're starting, a lot of different people, a lot of different content creators. So I am stoked to be there and watch those podcasts, listen to those podcasts, because I know it's going to be great. But basically thank you so much for having me. I hope people enjoyed it. I did enjoy it a lot. I feel and a little compliment to wrap it up with friending Kerb. You're doing amazing, dude. I told you so. Really you're getting close to your first year. You have had incredible growth. I can totally vibe with your community, the things you're doing, your approach to Twitch. I think it's smart. I think it's healthy. And I'm glad that you guys are that you're going to share this, having me here, and the future people that decide to join the project. So thank you for doing that, man. I appreciate that. And thank you
so much, too. That means a lot to me. And hopefully, like he said, everybody else got something out of it. So huge shout out to all of you. Thank you so much, Ribs. I'll be seeing you probably tomorrow, dude. I'm gonna come say hi to you.
Oh yeah, well, last thing, I'm gonna stream tomorrow, 6 days a week. Feel free to join if you want. You're welcome to try to check it out, see if you like it. Be safe, everyone. Thank you for having me, Kerb.
Absolutely. I'm gonna end the Zoom call here, and we're just gonna do a quick sign off. Thank you so much, Ribs. I appreciate you to pieces, dude.
Thank you.
Perfect. And a huge shout out to Steven for moderating that for me. I know this is different than what we typically like to do on the KerbStop channel, because I'm very much so focused on talking to you and chatting with you. Appreciate you all so much for being here. This is going to be a monthly thing. I have a few guests that have been talking that we really wanted to see how this trial period of the podcast went. So this was our first one. Huge shout out to Ribs Stream. Okay, get a shout out to Ribs in the chat, please and thank you. If you're not checking him out, full-time streamer, full-time variety streamer, does a little bit of anything and everything, and I appreciate this man's to pieces. It was an honor having him on the podcast. We're gonna have another podcast next month. I gotta continue to reach out. We're trying to see which guest is next, so stay tuned. If you're not part of the Discord, because someone do !point Discord for me, we're gonna end up having a streamer help section of the Discord. Pretty much where this is all coming from is there's 9.8 million streamers on Twitch and only 2.5 million viewer users, which means the majority of your chat at any given time is a streamer. So I want to provide that safe space for everybody to have these conversations, to get some tips, and you know, to just be able to enjoy what they do. So we're gonna rate out in just a second here. Thank you all so much for coming.